It is the moment we've all been waiting for, folks. Don't Starve Together's 2020 roadmap is here, and, well, it is certainly a thing, so let's just give it a read, shall we? Hey everybody, just taking a moment to check in and update you all with the roadmap for 2020. Please note that roadmaps are provided to give the community a sense on what we are working on and what is driving our decisions for what we are focusing on in the coming year. None of this is a promise or a guarantee. We always prioritize quality over deadlines, and all dates and timelines are estimated to the best of our current ability. Many longtime fans will know that we often add new things to these plans, which often shifts things around a bit. So it is recommended to avoid scheduling your vacation plans around our dates. This roadmap is subject to change at any time, but as we have done in the past, if any of this does change significantly, we will post new information as we have it. I'm going to set your expectations straight away, everyone, just like these 3 segments do for the entire community straight away. This roadmap is far more tame than last year's. We can't really fault it per se, or at least I can't, because it's almost exactly what I expected. Here is the Don't Starve Together 2020 roadmap in a single sentence. Yes, Clay Entertainment is still going to make content for Don't Starve Together. But just as great as it is to look at what will be, it is fantastic to look back at what was. And in their words, 2019 was a great year for Don't Starve Together. They did add the new characters. They did the refreshes. They did add substantial new content to the game. They even just revamped some old seasonal events. All that stuff led to some fantastic numbers, at least the numbers that they can report to us. The game is in a healthy place, so all the people saying that it's dead, well, that's a topic for another day, perhaps. They also go on to discuss bringing back the Forge and the Gorge events. Maybe even looking at bringing them to console, so on and so forth. But this is a topic that comes up so much, even as content creators, that I have to imagine that Clay is almost just tired of hearing of it. So much so that they even link the mods for these events. But, not to paint them in any sort of bad light, they are saying that perhaps everybody, they'll look back into bringing them, but I highly doubt it, unfortunately. They also talk about consoles, and I've had this conversation a couple times in some of these things. Unfortunately, console players just get the short end of the stick every single time, and I know they're going to try their best this year to make sure that doesn't happen, but I can't sit here in confidence and say that it's not going to happen. It's just game development is hard itself, but then to go through all the nooks and crannies and avenues that they need to work with Microsoft and Sony and all that to get these updates on console, it's tough. And you know what? Sometimes, like I said in one of our videos not too long past, and I hate to say it, but it's true, unfortunately, it's just like console players are not really factored into the overall decisions of the direction of the game. It sucks to say it, but it's true. But, enough sad stuff. Let's talk about the good stuff. What actually is gonna happen in 2020. So no more speculating, right? We can just dive right into it and get all the goods from Clay themselves about new characters, refreshes, updates, all that jazz. Well, like I said at the beginning here, let's taper our expectations a bit. However, let's read what they have to say. We're going to continue with generally the same plan as last year. More character refreshes and content. However, at this time, we aren't going to commit to a specific number of new characters. While the new characters were very well received and successful in selling well enough to help fund development, we also don't want to add new characters just for the sake of it. Yes, just yes. Do that for every ounce of content that you add to the game. It's been a conversation amongst everybody for months at this point, and it's true, and I'm glad that they're acknowledging it. However, we can be a little bit excited, everybody, because with that being said, we are currently in the process of creating at least one entirely new character for the future, and we will have more information about them as we get closer to release, so good stuff. But for our updated timeline, we expect that we will have something being launched at least once a month. We don't want to do more updates in a shorter period of time so we can be sure the updates are more substantial and interesting. Depending on how it lines up, we may see a couple updates during some months, and sometimes we may go a little past a month for the next update. But our goal is that you have something interesting to look forward to at least once a month. Reasonable. There's not really anything else I can say. I think that is the proper way to approach this. I've been reading the comments on the forums and everything, and people have been telling me people are not really super jazzed about this roadmap, and you can't truly blame them. You can't truly blame them. People are saying, like, you just got to look beyond the generic words. Of course they're going to be making new content. Of course there's going to be fun new stuff. But people were probably just hoping for more specifics. Of course, we'll talk about that more in the general idea at the end of this video, because this next part should really start getting people talking and hyped up, because they're talking about the next refresh, everybody. Our first character refresh is a bit of a secret at the moment, although it's not. You will be seeking more info about that during the first or second week of March. For now, enjoy the small teaser of the update trailer we are working on. It's no secret, it's Wendy. It's 100% Wendy. It's 110% Wendy. There's no way it's not. If you look at this photo, which I'll probably pop up right now on the screen, you can see all the other flowers are wilting, right? But look at the flower pattern that's on the house. It is Abigail's flower, and that is in bloom, which is very unfortunate because we know what that means, sadly. All the other flowers are dead. Abigail's is actually blooming now, which means the real Abigail is no longer with us. And this very nicely leads to the next segment, everybody. Lore. They are going back to it. At least we hope so. They started with lore last year and it was phenomenal, and then they kind of got lazy and did nothing for the remainder of the year. But we know that everybody wants more lore. So they know it. Hopefully they deliver. I am not going to say much more for now, but we know you want more lore. It would be smart from this point on to get back into scrutinizing things we put out for secrets. Not everything, but keep your eyes open. Now, this post, there are no secrets in this post, so scrutinizing this post would probably be a waste of your time, probably, blah, 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 blah. It's all good. It is all good. It's all there. The pieces are falling into place. But let's wrap this up, folks, so that we can just have a nice conversation at the end here based off this stuff. They are working on these clay reward things, which I think are mostly for console players, question mark, so us PC players don't really need to care all that much, to be honest. The streaming items, though, aka the Twitch drops, will be coming back and continuing, and that's very obvious. I mean, we've seen the data mined files. They got plenty of them coming. But, this interesting bit at the end here, I'll just summarize it for you because it's kind of the same thing. Don't Starve Together isn't going anywhere. So that means there's new players, old players, middling players. Clay is somewhat reaching out to us to say, hey, we know you want some substantial changes to the base game of Don't Starve Together. What is it that you seek? And this is interesting. Before we go any further and have some lovely conversation about this, let's just be real. This roadmap, and thus this video, was just born out of demand. Just born out of demand and just people asking for it, right? It is very generic, and that is purposeful. Whether you like it or not, that's a thing entirely. You can have discussions about it all you want. At the end of the day, though, it is just the same as last year's. It's just not as hypeful. It's not a word, but you know what I mean, right? They're not specific. They didn't give us much of a tease of anything except for the Wendy rework. All they said is, yes, we're going to do stuff for the game this year. It might mean that there's going to be a lot of good stuff. Might mean there might be a lot of middle ground stuff. It might mean we might not get as much stuff as we got in 2019. That is just what you have to accept right here, right now. However, doesn't mean we can't just continue to speculate and just increase the hype ourselves. But, this Wendy rework. We've had a discussion of it, of course, if you want to go watch that video, and I'm thinking maybe now that we know it's coming, maybe I'll make another video like I did last year when we suspected a character and then we came back and then built a better argument and a better, I don't know what the word is, constructed a better idea of what the character would look like out of our own speculations. Because, that video, the Wendy video that we did, everyone was talking about it, building off of each other's ideas. So now that we know it's coming, maybe we can actually get a grander picture of things, but that's the whole thing. The Wendy rework is coming, okay? It's coming. That's the big idea. Don't know when. Probably pretty soon. I would have to imagine maybe next month we'll get a Wendy rework, and that's going to be lovely. It's a character that desperately needs one, and hopefully it's going to be great. And I can tell you right now, even just the photo of the upcoming trailer, that's going to be a tough trailer to watch. We know what happens. When we know they moved to California, so it makes sense. They're on a beach somewhere. Looks like an unfortunate cliff. The flowers have wilted and dying. It's going to be tough. And I'm suspecting we might even see... he's not Maxwell, but we might see who we know as Maxwell in that trailer, and it's going to be absolutely lovely. I will say this, if they're planning only a single new character for the entire year, which I doubt it, but that is what they said, that might not be enough. However, that does give me confidence in the fact that what updates they are planning, which to me, considering this teasing image of the first roadmap, which seems to me that they will focus more on the lunar stuff. The lunar stuff is probably going to be phenomenal. Again, when we discussed it ourselves, the lunar content, and I think amongst most of the community, has been the shining, bright gem of 2019. The characters were great. Honestly, the character refreshes and new characters, all that was great. But as far as substantial new content added to the game, the seafaring stuff, you guys know how I feel about that. I'm not even going to regurgitate it. The lunar stuff is what they need to focus on, big time. They'll do that for sure. I have confidence that this is the year that the lunar stuff is going to grow. But this last part that we were saying, or discussing, or what they said, geez, I don't know my words, looking for us to maybe bring change to the base game of Don't Starve Together. Now, we did kind of just have a talk of combat in the game, right? I don't know what this could be. This is where the speculation of this whole thing comes in. Last year, we were able to speculate about a lot about the roadmap. This year, not so much. So, again, this video is probably not the greatest thing in the world, but this is where we can speculate. What overall base game changes can you bring that Don't Starve Together? Sanity, I think, is a huge one, okay? We haven't really talked much about Sanity, but we're on a roll now. We have been. I think Sanity needs big changes. Combat can absolutely need some sort of tweak here and there. Forge-like maybe with abilities, some sort of new range thing, magic users, as I've been preaching for forever, something. Combat needs to change. Let me know your thoughts. The character refreshes are obviously bringing their changes to the base game themselves, so we can't really see what that's going to do until, of course, we get the Wendy's rework. But the refreshes we have gotten, we can absolutely say that the meta may not have super changed and the gameplay loop might have not, but with these characters, they do bring change to the base game, so that's a whole other topic. Other than that, base game, Don't Starve Together, what really could you change? Because I think combat changes everything. Now, I've seen some speculation. Some people have even posted in my Discord about some things about different elevations of things, being able to hop different worlds, this, that, the other. Personally, I don't know. I really don't know if you were to bring actual substantial change to the base game of Don't Starve Together, that would be a much bigger undertaking than people might give credit for because of everything else we just got. They did bring substantial change to the game. They made the ocean a thing, right? And that kind of, sort of changed things, but it didn't at the same time. It is a difficult thing to do. And I guess it's why they're asking for feedback from everybody. So I guess it's up to us to bring them feedback. So post it down below. Who knows? They might see it. Like I said, everybody, I'm sorry this video is not necessarily going to be like up to snuff of last year's. Last year was hype overload. We were just able to dissect so much. This year, not so much. It's a tame roadmap speculation discussion video. But I'm happy. I'm absolutely happy to see the Wendy rework. That's going to be That's going to be great, I think. I think that might honestly be one of the best refreshes we get, in my personal opinion, because I think they're going to do it right. I think they're going to do it right. As far as the lunar content, if that is what they're focused on this year, oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. As far as how we're going to handle it all, they did say don't plan your vacation plans around it all, but that's fantastic because I sit around in my pajamas all day and make videos for the internet. So wonderful. When the new content drops, we will hop right on it and showcase it all. Experience it all. Show it all. It's going to be wonderful. But folks, thank you so much for watching. Honestly, this was just some dude with the beard reading what somebody else wrote. Oh, not much. Not much speculation this time. But we can do all the speculation down below. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.